Right guys, we just wrapped up a pull and leg session, which you will see in the next video. So just getting back, I put out a Q&A box on my Instagram over the weekend. I got some good questions in, so I'm just gonna run through them now. And some of them are kind of related to prep and stuff, and I'll give a little bit of insight along the way as well. So first question is from Oisin Sullivan. When did I first get into bodybuilding? And do I have any photos? What I'll do is I'll get Don to put some up here. I'll send them on to Don, he'll put them underneath here. But I first got into bodybuilding competed first in 2011. And that was the first show at Nationals where I came third. In juniors, I think there was like 12 or 13. And that will tell you the level of the amount of bodybuilders back then, which was a really good time to get into bodybuilding. Obviously, no Instagram, no social media. I even remember the Irish Nationals was featured in the Flex magazine the year before. And that's kind of how I seen about the show. And then obviously all the posters were put up in the gym, and that's how the word was spread around then. So I kind of fell into the gym after playing GA. I wanted to get a little bit bigger for hurling and started in the gym in around back into 2010. One of my friends and a former bodybuilder, Conor Flynn, used to train with him. He actually won the juniors in 2011 and I came third. So we started prepping, training together. Then we decided to do that to show together. And then I was just hooked after getting that third place trophy. And then bodybuilding just got more and more serious year after year. Then after that first show, I said, I want to win the juniors. And I remember even looking backstage, Cottle Tiernan at the time, I think it was massive. He was about 105 kilos on stage. And I was like, I want to look like him and I want to come back one day and win this Nationals overall. And obviously that's my goal this year. So it just shows how long this takes. That's 12, 13 years ago now. And I suppose every year I'd be doing this, you get a little bit more regimented and a little bit more stricter, but you have to be in it for the long haul. And that kind of realistic is it, yeah? Stevie G 51. How many shows are you planning on doing and what's your plans post-show? Well, shows-wise, I've only got, as of now, I know Alan has a few more shows in mind, but I'm not getting too much ahead of myself, even though it's good to know that he's confident in me. But I've got NPC Sweden on the 22nd of September, which is 10 and a half weeks out from today. And then I have the RBBF Nationals, which is another 3 weeks later, down in Limerick in UL on October 12th. So they're the two shows. There's potentially going to be a show in between there if Sweden goes well. And I kind of feel like I look how I want to look and I'm competitive as a super heavyweight bodybuilder. And then there's a couple of shows after the Nationals. So obviously my goal this year is to be competitive as a super heavyweight bodybuilder and get, I suppose, find out where exactly I am and know that, okay, I have a few more years left in this game. But also on the back of that, I really want to try and win the overall at the Irish Nationals this year. So I'm not going to, if I'm going to put a show in between then and it's going to end up, if it helps us improve for Nationals, 100% I'll do it. But if I want to make sure that I can go to Sweden and be nearly 100%, and if we need to make a few tweaks then for Nationals, that we can, and then I'll think about more shows after. So that's kind of the plan. And then obviously plans post-show will literally be make sure bloods are healthy. Hopefully that I'm like, right, I can be competitive here. And if I want more big off season and there's a big chance that I could do very well at a pro qualifier, that's the plan, that I will literally just be head straight back down into the game, do another big 18-month off season and probably come back in 2026 then, maybe the muscle contest in Ireland then. And that's roughly the plan there in terms of shows and stuff. Oh yeah, what's the story? Oh, good.
Good session?
Good session, hard session. But I still managed to beat my numbers, but yeah, it was definitely fatiguing towards the end of it, but very, very strong though, still, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Michael Flynn, who I actually coach, and you're only dieting a few weeks, so best way of overcoming hunger cravings when in a calorie deficit. You've got a few more weeks to go left yet. Well, look, we all get cravings, and cravings kind of the best thing realistically is having foods you like in your diet, and then obviously if you're focused on the goal in hand, them cravings will just be thoughts for now, but you just have to keep yourself preoccupied and realistically just suck it up. You're dieting for a goal. If you want to get from here to here, there's a way of getting there. And obviously them cravings, if you act on them cravings, are going to stop you from getting there. So it's just down to how bad you want it really, or okay, but to deal with them really, I get cravings as well. I get mad cravings. Even now, lately, I just had a mad craving for a big pulled pork burger, even though I haven't had a pulled pork burger and I fucking can't remember. But they're just things that happen, and you just have to realise that this is only for a short period of time. You can, when you're finished this dieting phase, that you can have whatever you were craving within reason, and then but you know yourself as well, these cravings are only satisfied for that second you're eating it, and then once you eat it, you feel bad. So you just again have to say, why am I doing this? And just deal with the cravings that way. But that's kind of the way I do. It's very simple. But for me, I'm probably obviously so switched on in terms of my goals, I don't really care. And I actually weirdly enjoy the cravings because it kind of gives you a sense that you're doing something that other people can't, and it's that sense of satisfaction from doing the hard things that I really enjoy about bodybuilding. When did you know you wanted to take bodybuilding to the next level? Well, for me, I don't even think I'm at that next level yet, but I suppose when did I decide I wanted to take it serious? I think after competing my first show. But the thing is, it's the more you do something, the more serious or the more better you get at it. So I think I really started taking it, I obviously took it more serious. I gave up playing hurling and football when I won that, or when I came third to juniors, because I was like, I want to put all my emphasis into this and try win the nationals as a junior, which I did 2 years later in 2013. And then after that, I wanted to win the novice, which was kind of the intermediate. Did that in 2015. And then the goal then was to try and become a heavyweight, win the heavyweights, and become the national champion, which I'm hoping, obviously, I'm working towards still. So it's been a constant progression. And obviously, coming with that now, it's like, obviously now I'm getting up to serious body weight, 130 to 140 kilos in the off season. So for me, it's kind of been like a steady progression to get to the next level, even though I don't really feel like I'm at the next level. So, but that's the best thing about bodybuilding. You have to constantly keep going and just getting better and better. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. DM Fitness 84, Darren Mooney, I think. Yeah, I want to get back into training, but finding it hard with my condition. Obviously, you don't say what a condition is, but I think you potentially might have Crohn's disease or IBS. And obviously, look, loads of people have issues. There's loads of bodybuilders with IBS and Crohn's. Obviously, it just makes things harder. It's like me when I came back from injury, couldn't really train legs properly, and obviously had to build it back, but you just have to work around it. And the worst thing you can do, time goes by so quickly, is if you really want to do something, don't let something that you feel is holding you back, let it hold you back, because it will. And then the next thing you're going to realize 2 or 3 years later, there's always ways to work around things. So obviously you have to get a good coach, someone who understands, the human body and physiology and the intestines and all that. They will be able to really assist and help you work around your stomach issues, and that might be having certain foods with certain microbiomes that can help with digestion. Obviously, you're probably going to have to eat with a lot more of a stricter diet than other people, because certain foods will cause certain triggers. But that is just down to you knowing what agrees with you in terms of food. Maybe gluten and wheat is a no-go, so bagels, bread, you just have to say, right, if that's given any slight issue whatsoever, they're gone. And find maybe some starchy carbs like potatoes. But someone getting a good coach will help you advise that. But I would say, I know you're getting on now, and I know you have such an interest in this. I'd be finding a way to work around it, rather than saying this has been holding me back now a few years and I haven't got back into training, because you're just stopping yourself from doing something you enjoy, and you might not want to be a professional bodybuilder or be a bodybuilder, but you still want to train, you still want to see progress in your physique. So I just find a way. That's the simple answer. There's always an answer. There's always a way. Babo 2, I know being huge can be hard. At what size are you most comfortable? Well, I wish I felt huge. I definitely don't feel huge now. Obviously, I know I was up around 140 kilos in the off season. That was heavy, and that was very, very discomforting, especially in the summer months when it was very hot, like this time last year. Sleeping at night, I had dog cooling blankets and fucking fans and everything, just trying to sleep at night. And it's not ideal, but I definitely feel a lot more comfortable now at the weight I'm at now, although I enjoy being big and heavy. But this point here, around 8 to 10 weeks out from a show, where your food is still relatively high, you've got a little bit of cardio in there, and your strength and progress in the gym. And my fitness levels now are savage. Like, I feel like I could walk up that stairs now or run up the stairs and get to the top, and I wouldn't be out of breath. Well, in the off season, by the time I was up the top of that stairs, I was out of breath, and that's just carrying around all that extra weight. So I think this kind of interim phase of 8 to 12 weeks out is definitely the part where I feel most comfortable. Pushing. What shoes are you thinking about for this season? I don't know if you mean because I'm always wearing Crocs, or I wear these barefoot shoes from fucking Amazon now. They're like Vibrams, but they're not. They don't actually have the separate toes on them. But these are only fucking like €15. And honestly, they're the comfiest shoes ever. Loads of different colours, and they're savage for training. So this seems to be the shoe for this season, but I still wear the old reliable Crocs in the evenings when I'm at home anyway. But these are the ones now for training at the minute, but I'll go through phases. Even like now I have my prep bandana on as well. I wore that back in 2019 and 2017 during my prep as well, and it's just something when you get into that, it's something obviously you have all these little comforts when you're in prep to kind of remind you that you're in there, and I just and this bandana now is one, but as I said, these shoes are the one at the minute. Stevie G again, your first bodybuilding prep experience, leading up and post show. So my first preps, it's nearly hard to remember now, it's been this long. But my first show was obviously 2011, and there was very, very little information out back then. And obviously the advice I was getting in the gym was very poor as well when you look in, I suppose, the standard of information that's out there now. And I was actually working on the tools at the time, and I was restricting myself with way too much, or way less food than I should have been, because I think I was probably only having carbs post-workout. Sometimes I'd have oats in the morning, and sometimes I'd have oats after training in the evening, or rice. And then all my meals throughout the day were literally just chicken. I'd boil up a load of chicken, and sometimes I'd cook broccoli, but sometimes I wouldn't even bother broccoli. I'd just fuck a load of chicken breasts in the oven, a bit of salt and pepper, a small bit of cayenne pepper on them, and literally just put them in tinfoil lunch boxes for the day. And I was literally just nearly very little fats, only from eggs. So in terms of my diet, it was very, very, it was lacking a lot of minerals and nutrition that I probably needed at that time as well when you compare it to my diet now. So that was obviously my first show compared to now, where everything is so, I suppose, so substantially different in terms of, I know where my carbs are at, I know what I'm tapering down, I know where my fats are, what protein intake I should be at. While then I was just like, I have to eat 5 or 6 times a day. I'll have a couple of chicken breasts at every meal. After training, I'll have a scoop of whey and some oats. In the morning, I'll either have eggs or I'll have oats and protein, depending on kind of what stage I'm at, if I'm training earlier in the day or whatever. So I was probably only having some days 50 to 100 grams of carbs, and I did that for like 12 to 16 weeks. And then obviously post-show, doing my first show and having complete understanding, your appetite is through the roof then after I starved myself. Did crazy amount of binging with food, literally started going from like 100 grams of carbs to 1,000, and then literally about 4 weeks later then you're not even able to eat your food because your appetite's fucked. So these are all things you learn along the way, but starting off now, if you want to get into bodybuilding, definitely get a coach to guide you, because there's too many mistakes you'll make that you're only kind of slowing down the progress and the right direction you should be taking when you're first getting into bodybuilding. But it was also fun in the learning as well. I even remember one of the shows as well at the start. I think I had a load of Easter eggs, and obviously I was prepping and saying I couldn't eat them, and then I remember making myself sick. I ate about 12 Easter eggs in one day then on the Sunday after the show, and never again. But now it's funny, the longer you do this, I don't even crave. I get crave for the odd burger and stuff like that, but post-show now I just want to eat loads of rice pudding, loads of cream of rice, berries, peanut butter, just craving good food, because you know if you eat a load of shit food, you just feel shit after it. So definitely now my post-show is definitely a lot different than it was years and years ago anyway. Owen Vatty, what show this year are you looking forward to the most competing in? And that's actually a very, very hard question, because in terms of the most exciting show is definitely going to be the gas show in Sweden, because I was obviously got to go to it last year, and I've never seen an atmosphere at a bodybuilding show like this. I've never seen the backstage. I've never seen it ran so well in terms of guest posers, getting to meet James Hollingshead backstage, the atmosphere. It's just savage. All big food tables laid out for the athletes, gym area, loads of area to lie down and put your mats and lie down, big massive screen to see what's going on out on stage, so you know when you're coming up next. So it's just run so well, and obviously everyone backstage is so nice and friendly, and that's just, I suppose, the big thing about gas. And since I've been with them as well, they are a family, and I think it's just, I'm delighted to be a part of it, and then obviously going to compete there as well. So I'm really, really excited about that. And obviously then from my own personal goal, obviously having me able to have my family and friends and everyone from the gym here, because it's only down the road in Limerick. I'm excited this year to hopefully bring, you know, something that's totally different in terms of bodybuilding than what I've brought before the stage, and get to showcase it this year. So I am very, very excited about that. And so gas show in overall, I'm most excited for that, but I'm more excited hopefully for the outcome and and having everyone around me, and hopefully getting the goal I wanted this year at the RWBF Nationals. So yeah. And following on that for Gavidis, who used to train here, he's back in Lithuania now, looking massive, brother. Thank you. How many shows are you going to do this year? I've already kind of touched that in the end. So 2 planned for now, but I know Alan has like 3, 4, 5. But as I said, we're going to just take it as it comes, and make the call after the first show. So I don't want to get too ahead of myself, because I know I still have a lot more work to do even after these shows this year, if I get the result in terms of the look I want to bring to stage. So yeah. James Waddle, when bulking, finding it hard to eat all the food, what helps you be able to eat so much? Well, look, one thing for me, I was always a skinny guy. I had a fast metabolism, but if anyone remembers me back in school, I used to come in every day with a shopping bag with fucking about 4 or 5 sandwiches for 10 o'clock, and the same pile for 1 o'clock with bananas, yogurts, fruit. I used to always have a very good appetite, and a big dinner in the evening, a big breakfast, but never used to go anywhere, because obviously I was playing a lot of sport, and I just was skinny, naturally skinny, fast metabolism. So thankfully I've always had a good appetite. But the one thing that will help you in now, and what's helped me over the last 18 months, eat over 6,000 calories every single day for a year and a half, is pretty much being on the ball with your food, and not throwing in foods that are going to mess up your stomach or give you any issues with digestion, because you're just pushing yourself back into a hole then, where you're going to miss out on food. And if you think of meals, if you were building a house, and think of meals as a brick, every brick you lay is a brick in building your physique. And if you were eating 6 meals one day, and then the next day you're only doing 3, and then you're going backwards only 1, and you're all over the place, you're not going to build your physique in the same time that other guys are out there literally boom, boom, boom every day. 6, 7 meals every single day over a year and a half. And that's what, alongside the sleep and the training, is the big difference. But some of the tips I would give is cream of rice or rice pudding from ESN that I use now. Digests very well. It's very easy to get down, and your stomach's clear within a half an hour. So I had 3 meals of cream of rice in my 7 meals per day, and then I had normal rice. Rices seem to digest really well for me, so I'm able to get my carbs up higher. And then I might add some fruits, honeys, and bits and pieces. But again, predominantly my carbs are just rice, and that way my digestion's good. I'm able to eat more, and obviously you can blend up cream rice as well and throw it into a shaker. And obviously, if you've seen some of my previous videos, I just drink my cream of rice, and it makes it a lot easier to get it down and very quick. So that's definitely a big tip. And then don't neglect movement and cardio in the off season. If you have a step count of 10k, make sure you're hitting it every day. Or if you're going to keep in 15-20 minutes of cardio per day, the more you keep that in, the more energy you're expending, and the better then that your appetite is going to, metabolism is going to keep running. If you go from doing cardio in prep, and then your appetite's really high, and then you just stop everything and start gorging food, your appetite's going to go. You're not going to be burning off them same amount of calories, and then next thing your off season is shortened. So the big thing is movement, finding meals that work for you, blending them, and then being regimented with your meal timings, and even getting enough sleep, because sleep is massive in terms of digestion also as well. Irving Bays, best way to balance macros for cutting and bulking. Well, that's all personal dependent, and I suppose you kind of have to find where your calories are at. If you have a coach and someone's helping you, they'll do that very easily. But for me, if I'm taking on a new client, what I will do is I will look at the foods they're eating now, look at the level of training and movement they're doing, and I'll say, right, we're going to start off with, say, 15 minutes cardio 4 times a week. We're going to do, you've not really moved much, let's increase our steps to 8 to 10,000 per day. And roughly, given off your diet plan, you're not having enough protein, we'll bring it up to 200 grams. And given your body weight and reckoning that you're, say, X weight, I reckon there's about 15-20 kilos of body fat to lose. So I reckon we can put your carbs somewhere in around 250, 300. That's just figures for me if I was assessing someone. And then I bring fats in at a moderate level, just for hormonal function and everything. And then literally run that for 4 to 6 weeks. And then obviously if you're not losing weight, you literally take away a little bit more carbohydrates, so pull down your fats slightly. And obviously then you know, okay, now I'm in a deficit when you start seeing that weight dropping off. And obviously then if you run that to a point where you kind of come to a stall, that's where you know your kind of metabolism set out with your calories and your food now. And then obviously if you want to start, if you're happy with your condition there and you want to go into a bulk, I just increase my carbohydrates then around the workout window, and bring it up by, you only have to eat to our needs. Just because you're hungry doesn't mean you should bump up your food a crazy amount. Bring your carbs maybe up from, say, 300 to, say, 500. See how you got on for 2 weeks. Look at your visuals. See if there's changes in your physique. See if scales is going up. If the scales is kind of gone up, then, and you've ran with that for another week and it's still kind of the same and your visuals the same, but you still feel like you're hungry, and your strength can increase more, than just add a little bit more food. And then again, it's just slowly building that up over time, and that's how you do a cut. And just keeping an eye on your body fat and your condition, because as soon as that gets to a point where you're kind of spilling over, or you're not really getting that return from your performance in the gym and you're seeing body fat, you know you've pushed your calories too high, or maybe you need to do a little bit of cardio or more movement with that. So it's very personal dependent, and obviously depends then if you're on PEDs and stuff as well. Obviously it's going to be different for natural people too. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question on that. And we'll do one more to wrap it up. Niall Quinlan, best fat burner currently available. Well, look, for me, obviously you have to be in a calorie deficit. There's no point, in which I'm presuming, knowing you've bodybuilded before, you understand that. So yohimbine is from, it's a natural herbal root. Obviously it's not available in Ireland, but you can buy it online pretty easy. You can buy it from Biolabs, who I'm sponsored by, and that's probably the best in terms of a natural fat burner that you can use. And I'm using 10 milligrams currently, and I started out 20 weeks out, and I've been running that. That helps break down the stubborn fat. If you do a bit of reading on that, you will see how beneficial it is. It has a lot of other issues as well. Well, not issues, it has other implements it has on the body. and obviously it can cause issues for certain people. So again, you have to try that to make sure it agrees with you. But it does cause like tingling and cold rushes and extra sweating and stuff as well. So be mindful of that. But most fat burners do. So for fat burners, for me, that's what I only use. And then obviously from a PED standpoint in fat burners, then I would be looking at something like clenbuterol, and then which will obviously help as well hold on to muscle tissue. That's a medication for treating asthma. It plays a massive function on the body with oxygen and your cells, and helps drop body fat. And then you can look at thyroid medication, T4 and T3 then as well. And I'm only running T4 now at the minute. So, but they all help with fat loss in terms of extreme bodybuilding. But in terms of you're just looking to drop some body fat, some stubborn body fat, Yohimbine is definitely the one there, and is the safest also as well. So yeah, that wraps up the Q&A for today. As I said, next video you'll see is the leg session and pull session recorded this morning. And then hopefully, I know I said in the last video, but we're definitely going to be doing a food shop, and hopefully if we land lucky with a day as well, we might get a refeed day in over the next few weeks. And hopefully about 3 weeks out, me and Karen are going to be moving into our new house. So we'll have Dawn in a few weeks out from the show as well. Show you the new house. Get a bit of cooking in as well. Have a nice big island for cooking food. And so I'll be looking forward to doing some off-season meals and stuff for that in the future. But yeah, thanks a mil for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And thanks for all the support.